Hello, welcome back to my channel. We're gonna get ready and do a little bit of catching up. I started my YouTube journey, or started posting on YouTube in January of 2024. And then I stopped posting in like June or July, and now it's October of 2025, so we need to do a little bit of catch up. I know if you've been following me for a while, you know, but I was planning our wedding. So last you were updated is we had my bachelorette in July, and then it was chaos from there. I actually have to start getting ready though, because I'm gonna start talking with my hands and get no makeup done. So I'm not necessarily going to talk about like the makeup products I'm using, but I'll make sure to link it all below in the description box in case you're curious like what I'm using. Also, if you saw my last video, I actually started posting again with a vlog, but I got this Medicube jelly like moisturizer, and I was going to use it at night, but it gets a little sticky, if you will. I don't know how else to explain it. And so I don't like that at night, because like I'm like laying in bed and it's like, I don't know how to explain it. Like if you know moisturizers like this, I guess it's just the texture of it just does that. Like I just know myself, and I'm a cream girly at night, and I don't know why I decided this would be a good idea. So I have started using it as like a daytime moisturizer instead, and I have been really enjoying it. And I figured the stickiness, or like a little bit, it's not like, I don't want you to think like you're putting sticky stuff on your face, but I feel like the like little bit of tackiness that it gives is probably better under makeup anyways. So I've been really enjoying using it that way instead of at night. Thought I'd give you that quick update. In case you were curious, I said I'm not going to talk about the makeup, but here I am talking about the makeup. But anyways, again, I think I posted like a pack with me for my bachelorette. So we did that. I'm located in Nebraska, and we went down to Kansas City. It's about a 3-hour drive, and we got an Airbnb with a pool. So we didn't have to do a lot like outside of the Airbnb. So like Friday night was like a chill night, and then Saturday we did end up like going out and to some bars and like all of that. It was super fun, so great. And then we got married in September of 2024, so it's been a year. It's been crazy to say, but it's been so good. So many people always ask like how's married life, and honestly, like Gary and I have been together for 9 years. We literally hit 10 years this summer, and you know, we've bought in a house. We've just, you know, been together for so dang long. It's like it's not that different. I don't think it's usually that different anyways, unless you don't live together and you know, things like that. But pretty similar for us, obviously, since we've been together so long, but you know, it's been really good. We got married in September of 2024, and then we did do a honeymoon. We actually went to the UK and Scotland and Ireland, so we did all of that. So we had friends come from Germany. So I think I shared on here that we did a trip to Germany in 2023. For my friend's wedding. She was a foreign exchange student when I was in high school, and we've just stayed in touch ever since then. So she was one of my bridesmaids, and her whole family came for our wedding, which was so exciting. So we did not leave for our honeymoon right away. We had a couple weeks between our wedding and our honeymoon, which actually worked out really nicely. For me, it was like, okay, so when you get married, typically you like leave for your honeymoon the next day, but we also had family in town. Like we had family that traveled 6 hours. Like if you drive, it's a 6-hour drive. And then we had my aunt who traveled from like Indiana and flew in. And so like to just up and leave, it felt weird to me anyways, especially again with our friends and stuff from Germany. That made it even like, I told Gary, I was like, we're not leaving. Like, we're not going to leave right away for our honeymoon. It's just not going to be that way, because with all the family in town, it just didn't make sense, because my immediate family isn't super far away, but like my extended family is a little bit further. And then my husband's family, a lot of them, like his mom's in Arizona, his dad's in Oklahoma. Like we have family from all over, and it just didn't make sense to leave right away. Wow, I really over-explained that. Sorry. Anyways, so we had a couple weeks between our wedding and honeymoon is literally all I needed to say, but it's fine. Anyways, so we did that, and then so we started in London. We did that for a couple days. Just explored all the things. So this was my first time experiencing like having luggage issues, which I kind of prepared for because my mom said that one of her friends had the same issue, but they also said like their underwear in the UK is not the same, and so to pack underwear in your carry-on. So I did, like I always do, just in case, like you just don't know, right? But so obviously I'm in Nebraska. We don't have any direct flights to Europe or anything like that. Our airport is still kind of small, like they're still building it out, etc. Like there's always construction, I swear. But so we had to fly through Chicago, which was fine, but our window from our flight from Omaha to Chicago, we had like an hour to get to our connecting flight, and it was an international flight. So I was worried because Chicago is such a big airport and we obviously have limited experience flying. I was just worried that we weren't going to make our connecting flight. And we left late. Like our flight was like delayed getting in, and so we were freaking out a little bit. So when we got to our gate, obviously like we checked in and things like that. So when we got to the UK, we landed in London at Heathrow, I believe. And when we landed in Heathrow, they told us, well, obviously my bag wasn't there. So we went to like the baggage claim customer service people, and we were like, hey, like I didn't get my bag. We put an AirTag in our luggage, but that only does so much because AirTags you can only track so far, right? Like you have to be so close to it. But obviously I could see his bag and I could see that it was in the Heathrow airport where mine was not. Like we weren't close enough to it, and it still said like last seen was in Chicago. And so we went to the customer service people and we're like, hey, like my bag didn't turn up, like can you tell us what happened? Well, she said, even though Gary literally checked in 2 seconds before I did for our flight, like went through to get on the plane, 2 seconds before I did, they said we boarded really late, and so they took they didn't put our bag on the flight, which I don't believe. We had a theory that like it fell off, like why they were transporting it to the second plane, because it just didn't seem logical that it didn't make it, you know? So either way, anyways, they were like, it's fine, like we'll make sure that it gets there the same night, it's just gonna be on another flight, right? So we're like, okay. So we still made a day of it. We were really tired because this is when the Chicago Bears were playing in London, which we didn't even know. They were literally filming us walking on the plane, and we're like, what is happening? They gave us like these pamphlets, a couple stickers, and we're like, okay. Like we were so confused at first. Like what is happening? So because of that, I feel like nobody on the plane was trying to sleep. And like we were landing at like 10 a.m. or maybe it was earlier than that, but it was like earlier in the morning, and I'm like, we're landing so early, why are we not trying to sleep? Because when you go to Europe, they're 7 hours behind us, so like you want to sleep because most of the time it's an overnight flight, so when you land it's going to be in the morning, so like you have a whole day ahead of you. But I could not sleep and nobody else was sleeping, so that was making it harder for me. It was a whole thing. I also just don't like sleeping on planes. It's really difficult. But anyways, so we got to London, and then we were able to check into our hotel early, thank goodness. They said that they don't do that very often, so we were very gracious for that. But we like chilled for like an hour, and then we went and like did some things. We spent a couple days in London, and then we spent like 4 days in Scotland, which I think was our favorite part. Like Gary actually got to drive, so our travel agent was like, you should drive, like it's so beautiful and gorgeous there. It's not, obviously it's harder to drive there because they're on the left side of the road and you're driving on the left side of the car, not the right side. So it was so weird. But because I wasn't 25 yet, or was I 25? 26. I don't know. It was something with my age where it would have costed more to have 2 drivers rather than just have Gary because he's older than me. So he did all the driving, which props to him. It was not an easy feat, but I'm glad we did drive. We got to see a lot of the like trees, the roads, the scenery. It was so good. So 4 days in Scotland, and then we did like a day and a half in Dublin. I got really sick the last day we were there though. I felt so bad because the last day was Cliffs of Moher. Yeah, I was puking my guts out the night before, I'm not gonna lie. And it wouldn't have been so bad, but it was that lingering stomach pain. Like it wasn't, it was not good. I was hoping like if I just puked, I would feel better. No, it didn't. It did not work out. So I did feel really bad, and I didn't want to miss it because that was like one thing Gary was like wanting to do while we were there, and I was like, well, I'm not gonna miss it because I know you really want to do it, and I know I don't feel great, but it's fine. And it was like a 9-hour tour, which was fine. Like we got to go multiple places and see a lot of things, and it was just like a drive from where we were in Dublin. And so it was, yeah, it was a long day, but it was good. I was excited. I was glad we got to see it. We might not have done as much walking and stuff as we would have if I wouldn't have been feeling terrible, but it was really good. So got married, went on our honeymoon. That all happened last year. And then this year, honestly, I could have probably picked up YouTube again and like picked up my camera at the beginning of this year, but I feel like I need to update you health-wise, and then we'll get into our trip that we took this year. I might have hinted at it in the last video, but so on our honeymoon, I honestly was, I don't know how to explain it, and I feel like it might make me emotional, but I felt numb. So I've been really open about my anxiety, and like I'm on meds for it, but it was such an eye-opener because on our wedding day, I didn't even cry. Okay, I did. I cried a little bit during like our vows, but it was so eye-opening on how like numb I have been feeling. And I know that is like the point, right? Like it helps like suppress your anxiety. That's what anxiety meds are. But it was to the point where I didn't feel normal. You know what I mean? I don't know how to make it make sense. Hang on, let me do my other brow. I don't know, I just didn't feel like myself. Like yes, I did get emotional during like our vows and our ceremony, and I also got really emotional dancing with my mom, but it just didn't feel like me. And it was kind of a rude awakening for me that maybe meds is not the way I wanted to go. And so I decided to stop taking them. You can like wean off, and I was only taking 10 milligrams of Lexapro. That is what I was on. And I just told my doctor like I didn't feel like myself and that I wanted to get off of them. And she said, well, we could lower your dose. And I was like, I don't know about that. So honestly, what works best for me is cold turkey. Like that sounds terrible, but I just stopped taking it. And so my body was readjusting. I was having like more anxiety. Shocker, right? Because I was adjusting to not having that in my system anymore. And honestly, like it has still been hard. Like I've had my days, but I am now in therapy. I started therapy a few weeks ago. And it's hard because I don't know what to expect out of therapy because I've never been. But I do know a lot of people. Like I also share this on my Instagram story. So a lot of people are like finding a therapist is like dating. So like you're going to find one that matches and works well for you. So if you're not vibing with them, don't be afraid to change. So that's scary. I don't know if like scary is the right word, but it's kind of nerve-wracking because it's like, okay, I want to find somebody that's a fit for me, right? But I know it might not be the first person, and so it just, kind of makes me like nervous going into all of it. And like, how do you know? Because like I've never been in therapy, so how do I know I'm not driving with them? I think I'll just know. But yeah, so because of that, I feel like it's held me back in a lot of ways, and I get in my head about posting, and it's a lot easier for me to overthink a lot of things now that I'm not on it, if that makes sense. Like I'm like trying to like retrain my brain that like other people's opinions are none of my business, and if people don't like me, that's fine. They can unfollow me. They don't have to watch my content. Like If they want to give me their opinion, that's also fine, but I don't have to listen to them. Like, I don't have to take strangers' opinions, and I don't have to let that affect me and my mood and things like that. So I feel like it was just kind of like a reset for me this year, like redoing and relearning a lot of things. So yeah, it's been a struggle, but it's been good. Again, therapy's just been really good for me. And I feel like the thing I struggle with a lot too is like, I feel like I know what I need to be doing. Like, I know I should be working on my breathing. I work out so that I have that, like, the endorphin rush to feel good mentally and physically. You know, I track my food, I watch my macros. Like, I feel like I do all of the things. So it's so hard for me to also be like, okay, not only are you doing all of the things, you also have a husband, you have a house, you're so blessed in life. Why do you feel this way? Like, I don't know if you struggle with anxiety, like, I'm curious to know your thoughts. Like, do you feel that way sometimes where it's like, my life is so good and I'm so grateful for everything in it. So why am I having all these anxious thoughts or these overwhelming feelings and all of this? But we are still human and we all still have those thoughts. Well, not everybody has those thoughts, but it's okay if I still have those thoughts. And that's something I've also been grappling with. But yeah, so that's a little bit of an update on my anxiety and that journey. So yeah, but I'm excited to be back and, you know, be in a better headspace, because I feel like that also helps my content, because sometimes it's hard to show up when you're not feeling okay, mentally or physically, you know? But yeah, so that's a little update on that. And then our big trip this year was to Japan. A lot of you might be like, Japan, oh, that's so random. But it actually wasn't. In 2020, so Gary and his friends really wanted to go in 2020, and we were in like the end of 2019, like maybe like fall of 2019, we were all like, okay, so what time of year do we want to go in 2020? Like, we need to plan this out if we're going. And it was a group of, so Gary and his 5 friends. So there's 6 of them total, and then I would be 7 just because I was his significant other, and he told me he wasn't going to leave me out of it, which I'm so grateful for. Like, that was so sweet of him. Like, he didn't have to include me in it. Thankfully, we didn't book any flights or anything like that. So we didn't have to deal with any of the, like, the backlash of the flights and things like that, thankfully, which was a blessing in disguise. But so then after we got married last year, I told Gary, I was like, before we start a family, like, this is gonna be the best time, I think. So we, like, end of last year, we were talking about it, and he brought it up with his friends, like, hey, Alex and I are thinking about going in 2025 because it just works out again. And it also worked out because one of the guys in the friend group also got married in 2024. They got married in April, we got married in September. So it worked out where, like, yeah, you like still had like the expense. Well, I guess I can't speak for them. We had the expense of our wedding plus like our honeymoon to pay off, but we're like, 2025 is going to be a perfect year because we do want to start a family, and we want to go to Japan before we do that because the time change is so drastic. Like, we've talked about it a lot. Like, the reason we've been traveling to Europe a lot more and like Japan rather than like staying in the States is because we can do the States with kids. It's going to be a lot easier to do it when we do have a family and kids to travel with, whereas like Europe and Japan would be a little bit harder because the time change. Like, Japan is 14 hours ahead. So like right now it is 3 p.m. So it is literally 5 a.m. tomorrow there. Right? Like, my brain could not grasp the time change. I mean, it could, but it was so weird. Like, I had to look, like, what time is it at home? Like, can I text somebody? Can I text my mom? No, you can't, because it's like middle of the night. So it would be harder with kids because they don't understand the time change. You know what I mean? So that's why we've been doing it, and that's why it was the perfect time. So in January, we booked flights for September. So essentially, we went September 14th through the 27th. So it was like a couple weeks. We spent like 6 days in Tokyo. So we landed on Monday and then left on Saturday. So it wasn't 6 days. It was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 5-6 days in Tokyo-ish. And then we spent the next week in Osaka. So from Osaka, we also did Kyoto and Hiroshima. So we kind of explored around Osaka. So it wasn't just specifically there. Japan is so big and there's so much to do that it was so hard to hit every single thing. But it was such a good time, such a good time. So I figured we would just go over a few frequently asked questions that I got in my DMs about Japan, just in case you're curious. I've thought about doing videos about it, like things you should do in Japan if you're planning a trip, things you should pack. So if you're curious or interested in that, let me know. I know like we went like over a month ago now, but I feel like it would still be helpful because I literally was going to social media looking for videos of like, what should I pack? Like, yeah, I was reading blogs and doing all those things. Like, I'm such a type A brain. I literally planned this whole trip. And I like take pride in that because I feel like I did a good job and everybody validated that and everybody had a good time, or they say they did. But I am such type A. I literally just gathered, I was like, have them all send you what they want to do. And I just made an itinerary off of that. Again, I looked up blogs, things to do, what to pack, all of these things. So if I compiled all that, I would be curious to know if you guys want to see that. I might still just do it anyways, just because, again, I was on social media looking for things like that and I didn't find a ton of content. So, side note, I asked my sister to pick me up a L'Oreal Lash Paradise and she got me this Paradise Big Deal mascara, and I was like the bottle didn't look the same, and she's like, well, it was L'Oreal Lash Paradise, and I was like, you're right, you know, I didn't specify, and I honestly really like it. I'm like, look at that, blessing in disguise. It's so lengthening. It like separates my lashes so well. A couple of the like most frequently asked questions, like even from like friends and family, or again like on Instagram while we were there, one of them was, how's the language barrier? And to be honest with you, Tokyo like is a very big tourist destination. Like, I guess all of Japan is, but they're very good like with having English menus and things like that. It was also very surprising because some of the like restaurants we went into in Tokyo, you literally scanned a QR code, like everybody could scan it on their phone, and you would add to the order and it would add to the table's order, which was really kind of cool. So you would just add and they would just literally bring it to you as you added. So like if you got like, one night we got sushi, like I think we had sushi once while we were there, but we got sushi, and like if we were still hungry and wanted to order more, we could just place an order for that and they would just bring it out as you ordered. It was kind of cool. And then at the end it like has your whole total as your table, like whether you ordered it from one phone or all 8 of us or 7 of us like did it individually from our phones, which was so cool. And then when you're on the website, you also can like translate it to English, so obviously that made life a lot easier to know what things were. But again, a lot of places also had English menus, and a lot of people there speak enough English that you understand, especially at like restaurants and things like that. We also did like tours and stuff, but obviously like that was all like English because like we booked through an English tour guide, if that makes sense. So language barrier was not bad at all. Like we didn't struggle with it. One of the guys that was with us was learning Japanese, so he did know a little bit, which was nice. Another question we got is like transportation. We did a lot of public transportation. So one of the guys, like I didn't want to take all the responsibility, so I just asked if he could do the like transportation and figuring out the trains. So we all got what is called a Suica card. If you have an iPhone, you can download it on an app, and you can just recharge it with your Apple Pay. If you don't, you have to get a physical card, like if you have an Android. So like Gary had to get a physical card and you had to fill it at the station, and you have to fill it with cash, which was kind of inconvenient, but it was fine because he just added like 1,000 yen and I'd add 1,000 yen, and we'd be able to track like how much we had, because obviously we were taking the same trains and doing the same things. But the train system was pretty easy to figure out, in my opinion. Like Google Maps is really good about like laying it out, like here you're going to take this train right at 8 stops or right at 3 stops and then transfer to this train. So the transportation actually worked out really well. We booked a couple like bullet trains from Tokyo to Osaka, so we did that beforehand. I don't know how we did that because he did that, thankfully, but he got our like physical tickets while we were in the train station. He just had to print them, but we got all of that. But yeah, transportation actually was really good. They do have like taxis and Ubers. We only had to do that once. Other than that, we relied on the trains, which honestly was so nice. And it's so funny because Gary's like, you know, we should do this in America. He's all for public transportation, but it honestly was so convenient. So like, I get it. Another question we get a lot is it really expensive? Like, did you spend a lot of money? Like, was it super expensive to be there? Honestly, no. It's honestly a lot cheaper. And it was so surprising because I didn't know going into it like what to expect. When somebody asks about the price, I always tell them Gary and I had one meal that we paid $90 for. Other than that, like one night we got dry ramen, which was ramen without like broth. So good. I didn't even know that was a thing. But we got that $16. 16 US dollars for both of us. Not just one, both. I'm like, was that really only $16? Wild. And it was so good. For like 7 of us, the first night we were there, we just ate at our hotel. Like there was like a little, it wasn't a bar. It was a restaurant at the hotel. So we ate there for all 7 of us to eat. And I think all 7 of us got drinks. Like not like alcohol drinks. Maybe a couple got, I think 2 got alcohol, but the rest just got like a pop or whatever. $96, I think it was like $100 for 7 of us. Unheard of, right? So not super expensive when you got there. So I literally told Gary, I think the most expensive thing we spent money on was the plane tickets. We also got some fun souvenirs. We always get like cups and mugs when we're there or like wherever we travel. I got a couple t-shirts. We went to Nintendo World and Universal Studios. That was so much fun. So lots of things. Any other questions I can think of? Somebody did ask, like, how did you know what to do while you were there? I used an app called Get Your Guide. I'll put a picture of what it looks like here. This is amazing. It's such an amazing tool. I don't know where I heard. Oh, actually, I think my friends from Germany brought it up and like brought me onto it. So it's called Get Your Guide. You can search like days that you're there, locations, and it gives you all of these fun activities you can do. Like we did a ramen gyoza cooking class through Get Your Guide. We did the Minnow Forest walk with Get Your Guide. So many good things. I absolutely cannot recommend it enough. If you're traveling anywhere, literally, I'm pretty sure they have something for you on there. We also did some of our like honeymoon stuff through Get Your Guide. I'm telling you, it is so good. We absolutely love it. Not only that, a lot of the friend group that we went with are really into like anime and things like that, and that is really huge in Japan, obviously. So I took everything that they wanted to do. I created an itinerary, and then I kind of worked from there. We didn't initially want to go to Osaka, or like that wasn't part of the plan when we booked flights, obviously, because like we flew into Tokyo, flew out of Tokyo, so like we should have switched our flight to leave through Osaka because we were in Osaka. But it actually worked out because when we went back to Tokyo, there was a couple other things people wanted to hit and events that were happening that weren't happening when we were first there. So it did work out. I just kind of again created the itinerary from there and filled in the gaps with things that I thought were interesting from Get Your Guide, and then we discussed, and then we booked like I didn't book everything for everybody. It was like we had one person book every day. So like if it was something we needed to book, one person would do it, and then the next. And then we also got an app called Splitwise, and so any expense that we did, we would split it all with the whole group. So yeah, it was really convenient. So a couple of apps I would recommend: Get Your Guide, the Suica card, and then Splitwise if you're traveling with a group. If not, you can ignore that one. This video is going to be so long, so I am going to cut it here. But if you have any other questions, I can definitely address them in an upcoming vlog or things like that. So drop them below. I'd love to chat with you guys. If you're planning a trip to Japan, I hope you have the best time. Again, if you have questions or anything, need recommendations, my door is open. I would definitely be able to help you or want to help you because, again, type A brain here. But anyways, thank you so much for being here and watching all the way through. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.